Would you give a second chance to somebody who had burned all their bridges and burned everyone they loved in the process due to the ravages of addiction? This is the theme proposed by the film Ben is Back, whereby we have the classic prodigal son coming back to his family straight from rehabilitation centre where he has left early. This is a terrifying modern prodigal son type cautionary tale about a ravaging insidious epidemic which begins at your local pharmacy. Stand up straight is the opening line of the film, delivered by Julia Roberts' character Holly as she directs a scene of pristine perfectionism, which sets the scene for the stark contrast for what we know is to come. This film is a timely chronicle of a particular epidemic which has swept through America over the last 2 decades, whereby a middle-class drug epidemic has swept middle-class America for the first time, driven by and large by legal prescription drugs which were prescribed by doctors, intense lobbying by Big Pharma.
He's gained some weight and he's got the sparkle back in his eyes. He's clearly doing better.
So then why are you hiding everything?
Well, there obviously have been many films made about drug abuse and drug addiction and how it has destroyed lives. This is perhaps a rarer look into how drug abuse is now infecting middle-class America and across the world, but particularly America, where the liberalisation of drugs and the influence, powerful influence of Big Pharma on doctors particularly, who tended to overprescribe, particularly OxyContin, to unwitting patients.
Unlock the door, Ben, right now.
I told you not to believe me and you didn't listen.
Ben!
So in this case, an innocent fracturing of a leg has resulted in a life of harrowing drug abuse and suffering, not just for the principal character in this film, but also his family, who we see have been torn apart by the effects of this particular drug.
We said we weren't going to do this again, remember?
I agree. And if it weren't Christmas.
Julia Roberts absolutely excels in this role, where she portrays the heart-wrenching torment of being a mother who's hollowed out by the powerlessness of being a bystander, while her son, the son that she loves so dearly, spirals deeper and deeper into addiction. Also, interestingly, she still has the most radiant smile in Hollywood.
Oh my God, I can't believe it!
Catherine Newton is the other star of this show. The always dubious, ever resentful, from the very start, doubts the bona fides of her untrustworthy, manipulative addict of a brother. She can rarely resist the opportunity to undermine the celebratory warmth of the mother and son reconciliation whenever she can. For instance, when the son Ben is regaling his mother with a tale, an unlikely, hilarious tale from rehab, she cuts through the laughter by saying, "Mom, it's not funny." When challenging the wisdom of her mother's decision to reconcile with her son, the mother, Holly, says, "I would do the same for you." To which Ivy counters, "Well, you would never have to."
You get a day. This time tomorrow, you are back in sober living.
Yeah, okay.
You do not leave my sight ever. Because for the next 24 hours, you are mine, all mine. Got it?
I got it.
There are some weaker moments here. For instance, Ben meets a random friend at a shopping mall, and this friend's initial greeting to Ben is, "Ben, great to see you. I thought you were dead." A somewhat ill-advised and unlikely greeting to be used at school reunions or random meetings at a shopping centre.
Hey, Burns! I thought you were dead.
We're also somewhat incredulous when he goes to a drug addiction support meeting and he meets a girl at the meeting who he had forgotten he was her dealer, which again is somewhat unlikely. The director also pushes the boundaries somewhat for effect when Holly brings her son to a graveyard and asks him to pick out the plot in which she is to bury him. Now, this does work to good effect in that it shows the extreme lengths to which Holly is going to go to wake her son from the slumber and from the complacency of addiction.
Just tell me, son, where you want me to bury you.
A dog napping is an unlikely instigator for a road trip to the underbelly of mid-America. Again, an unusual device that the director uses. Now, it does pull at their heartstrings for anybody who loves dogs to see the lengths to which the family will go to recover their dog who has been dog-napped. There is also another slightly contrived scene where the mother Holly meets the very doctor who initially prescribed the painkillers for Ben in the first instance due to a relatively trivial accident, a sports accident. And this is an unlikely random meeting in a shopping centre. However, it does facilitate many viewers to vicariously vent their anger and frustration and challenge at the many doctors in America who irresponsibly overprescribed these painkillers, and of course the drug companies behind the scenes who exerted undue influence to those doctors and somewhat immoral and unfair inducements to overprescribe the medicine. Behind this is the company Purdue Pharma, which is a very controversial company and paid the highest fine of any pharma company in history due to admitting, knowingly concealing the extreme addictive nature of the medicine OxyContin, which were pushing on doctors very aggressively in the late 90s.
You need to go home. If you really knew me, you'd be done with me.
I know you.
No.
I know you.
You don't, Mom. You don't know me.
The fact that the director and the film explicitly chose the name OxyContin shows that they felt a certain immunity to any challenge or any lawsuit by the company Purdue Pharma themselves, on the basis that the most reviled company in America at this stage, and that their insistence from the start that this drug was safe and a risk-controlled way of managing pain is now threadbare. This film takes us on a road trip through from middle-class America through to the underbelly of that particular middle-class society in America, which is replete with its white picket fences and beautiful Christmas decorations. And we're given a deep insight into the parasitic nature of this drug, which has invaded, taken over American society.
If I don't deal with this, then it could be worse next time.
Okay.
One slightly worrying aspect of this film, the casting of the director's son as the lead in the film. This is always a worrying prospect in that, by definition, you haven't casted the optimum actor for the role, which is an unfortunate start to make. However, the lead character does pull it off respectively.
You go in, pay the man, and get right back out.
Lock the door.
Sister, Ivy, is perhaps the star performer of the film, and she is perfect in portraying that sibling who feels hurt and left behind and feels in competition for the love and affection of her parents, while playing the perhaps saintly role of the child who plays by the rules. One of the central themes of this film is as old as the Bible itself, in that it deals with that classic prodigal son tale, whereby the son who has sinned, in this case through drug addiction, and has put his family through hell, through the ravages of drug addiction, returns to that family seeking forgiveness and seeking a second chance. We're always dubious from the word go as to whether that second offering of a second chance is worthwhile. And the most critical person of all is his sister Ivy, who certainly doubts his bona fides in turning clean, and certainly in relation to the effect that it will have on the rest of the family.
I put my family in danger.
This is on you.
It leads to that classic, all too familiar sibling rivalry, particularly between two siblings, one of which has rebelled and perhaps strayed from the path, and the other, in the case of Ivy, who's been that model daughter, who's played by the rules, hasn't put their family through hell, in fact is the opposite. A member of the church and sings, perfect daughter really for her parents. Certainly feels hurt by the fact that the son who has caused so much trouble in the family is welcomed back and given that second chance by her mother.
Just be calm. I can't be calm.
We're certainly conflicted in whether Holly is right in giving that second chance. We certainly feel for her in the conflict that she has between welcoming her son back and knowing the potential risks that are involved in doing that.
I just need you to please find my son!
The things that I've done to myself and others.
We can't save them, but you'll hate yourself if you don't try.